Hey guys, Craig Beggins here. I'm the broker for C21 Beggins Enterprises, and today I'm going to start a new series. It's going to be called Hints for Homebuyers. And what I've done is I've asked our agents to give me questions they fielded from customers that we could just put into a public forum and let you all hear these answers. So sometimes you feel silly asking a question you think you should know the answer to, but there's really no need to because everybody's got questions. So let's address some of them. Question number one was, how much money should someone have saved for closing cost, down payment, and what percentage of the house should they have? House price should they have saved? And you know, the answer is it depends. And that's why this is a complicated situation, right? We've got loans anywhere from, let's say FHA, 3.5% down. We got 5% down conventionals. We have 10% down conventionals. We have 20% down conventionals. But it really depends on your income and your debt ratio, right? Because you have to, generally, you need like 42% of your mortgage payment, of your income can go towards your mortgage payment. So if you're making $100,000 a year, theoretically, you could have a $4,200 a month mortgage payment. Now your mortgage payment is made up of principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and then HOA fees if there are any, right? So PITIH. So that adds up to that $4,200. So your mortgage is going to be a certain amount depending on your taxes and your HOA and the insurance. And you've heard me talk in other videos that insurance is really becoming a problem right now for a lot of us. So that's the financial part of qualifying for the mortgage. But there's also something called closing costs, which is a big deal. And you went through the mortgage meltdown in 2013, and that crossed a whole bunch of mortgage stuff, and Dodd-Frank came out and they changed the lending rules. And we got very specific on making sure that buyers knew what they were paying and what it was going toward, right? And closing costs were a big one because, you know, the closing costs of third parties are going to escrow for insurance, they're going to escrow for taxes, they're going to do the bank lending fees, they're going to charge you up front for some closing costs. And then you got doc stamps, or intangible tax on the deed, and doc stamps on the note, and all these things come into play, and these are closing costs that get disclosed. But to make it really simple, you're going to have about 2% of the mortgage cost. So it's a $300,000 house with a $250,000 mortgage. Probably 2% of the $250,000 loan would be the closing cost requirement, right? So you're going to put a 20% deposit, let's say, for a perfect conventional loan. $400,000 house, 20% deposit, $80,000. But now you've got closing costs. So that other, what do we say, $5,000. So now it's $45,000 that you're going to have to put down with cash. Now, that's in a normal scenario. But what you're really fortunate for now that you couldn't have done 9, 10, 12 months ago is 9, 10, 12 months ago, you were competing with multiple offers to get one of the few houses that were actually available for sale. So when the seller was given multiple offers, this one's cash, there's no worry about mortgage financing, there's no inspection contingencies, it's really easy. And our FHA buyers with a lower down payment, less security, not as much money down, the seller given these choices goes the easy route and takes this one because there was so much business. Well, now that pendulum has switched a little bit, swung to the other side. So now the buyers have more power and houses are sitting on the market longer. So now you, as a mortgage buyer, can be actually better than a cash buyer, because the cash buyer is kind of stingy, right? They got their cash, they think they're a big man on campus, I don't need, you know, I'll pay what I'll pay. But you now have an opportunity to get in there. And what we found right now with the mortgage officers, loan officers we've been talking to, upwards of 70% of all loans that are being applied for now are requesting seller paid closing costs, which is really cool. Now the home builders are doing this straight across the board. Buy the house, we'll pay this much in closing costs. So that takes your cash requirement to buy way down. And we're finding now in resale home sellers have to compete with the new homes as well. So they're more amenable to accepting a lower price or accepting a higher price and paying your closing costs so you have less cash out of pocket. So that's why it's important that we work as a real estate brokerage, an agent, with your loan officer to strategize what you need. Now, if you're a buyer getting a loan, but cash down payment isn't your problem, we don't need to go that way. We probably get you a lower price. But I use this example with my kids all the time. Here's a pencil. It's $1, right? It's $1 pencil. Now, what if I sold it to you for $2, but I gave you $1 back? How much is it a pencil? Still $1, right? You gave me 2, I gave you 1 back, but you only spent 1. So let's say the house is $300,000, but you want $10,000 in closing costs. So we'll coach you to write an offer at $300,000 or $310,000, but we'll have the seller give you $10,000 back at closing towards your closing costs. So you're still only paying $10,000. We just swapped the cash responsibility from your pocketbook to the seller's pocketbook. So that's kind of one of the things we want to talk about. So basically, now this is why there's a partnership. You, your agent, real estate agent, and your loan officer need to powwow together and talk about the options and what's best for you. We don't really need to know about all of your ins and outs as your real estate agent to know your financials, but we want to talk with your loan officer and package the right deal for you, and then present the offer with power to the seller so they understand the needs. And it really works out very, very well. And we can also do something called buying down interest rates. So interest rates have always been an issue, right? They've doubled in the last 6 months. So we're in the 5.5% to 6.5% rate. But that's interesting. So I want you to think about this too. Let's say, and I'm going to make up these numbers, let's say it's a $300,000 mortgage and the payment's $1,800 a month at 6.5%. So let's say we negotiate the house down to $290, right? The difference in your mortgage payment from $300 to $290 is going to be $20 a month, right? But what if we bought down the interest rate? Let's say we took $10,000 and bought down the interest rate from 6.5 to 5.75. Well, all of a sudden your payment goes down $150 to $200 a month instead of that little bit. So it's actually better to pay more for the house and get the seller to kick back money to buy down your interest rate to lower your payment, right? And then you've got this interest rate that's kind of better than the market. And if it goes really low, you can always refinance. But if not, now you got a fixed rate loan for a long period of time. So I'd rather see you buy down your interest rate, maybe get some cash for closing costs too, as long as the appraisal allows for it. And this is just kind of an example so you have 3.5%, well, first of all, VA, you've got 0% down loan. So if you're a veteran, you've got the Veterans Administration. So what has to happen is, for a loan to be sold on the secondary market, we have to have a 20% equity position, right? So 20% down, and the bank lender can sell that loan to the secondary market, get it off their books, get their cash back, and they're happy, and they go lend to another person. Now, when you do a 0% down loan, like a VA loan, there's no 20% to secure that asset, so the lender can't sell that loan on the secondary market. But what a VA loan does is it guarantees the gap, the 20% down. So if that loan were to go bad, the VA would guarantee the 20% down, which enables that loan to be sold in the secondary market, so the lender can get their money back and go lend to somebody else. Now, FHA is the same situation. It's a 3.5% down. Well, 3.5% down is not 20%, so they can't sell that loan in the secondary market. But FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, to make home buying available to the public, because it's good for the economy, says, hey, we'll insure the gap, the 17.5% or 16.5% between the 3.5% and the 20%, which will enable that loan to be sold in the secondary market. So the question was, how much cash do you need to buy a house? And the answer is, it depends. If you're VA, literally sell VA houses and have people get cash back at closing. And it's legal, and we do it all the time. FHA, you need 3.5% down. Some of that can be gift money, like your parents can give it to you or something, your uncles or aunts or whatever. So that lowers that responsibility. If you're going conventional, you got 5%, 10%, 20% options or more. So that's it. So really, it's a strategy that we want you to work with us and your loan officer to find out what's best for you. But it could be anywhere from literally zero cash back at closing to 20% down with a lower mortgage and better rates, right? There's more cash you put down, the better your interest rate's going to be. The higher your credit score, the better your interest rate's going to be. So there's a lot of variables. It's not an easy question to answer, but I hope I at least piqued your interest to make sure you're working with your real estate agent and your loan officer. And if they get together, if they get along, it makes the whole process a lot simpler. So get in touch with the real estate agent. We'll help you get in touch with a great loan officer and work together as a team to create a strategy that works best for you.